Hey guys, welcome to our second video on pretty much creating a login to MySQL using PHP. So we covered pretty much creating the basics of a database, but we did not populate the database. So what we're gonna do now is populate the database. So let's open. So I have my example open, and for that you just click on admin on MySQL. Click there, and that brings you into a list of your database. And what we created was a database called test2. So we're gonna click on test2, and we had a users table, which is going to store the users, the persons who are going to be using this. What we're really creating is an invoice creator for your business, which would be an invoice creator for this crazy chicken factory. Don't laugh. So when we click on that, there is absolutely nothing in there. We just have the user's name field and the user's pass field. So what we're gonna do is just gonna put in somebody there to just make sure that we can get through. So let's insert. So I'm gonna create my username and I'm gonna call this Bob, and yeah, already have this because I did it before, Bob123. So pretty much this would be the values stored in uname, which is user's name, and this would be the password, which would be upass. All right, so after that you just simply, we're just creating one row, so just put one here and click go. Okay, cool. All right, so you can just go back to your users database. So you want to leave this page? Yes, I want to leave this page. Okay, didn't create anything. All right, let's go again. Insert. These things happen. Bob, Bob123, and go. All right, and pretty much that one row inserted. All right, so now we go back to browse. And here we go. The first row is Bob and the password is Bob123. All right, now let's get back to our code for this page. So this page, we're gonna go into the code right now. So let's go back to our folder, which is login system, and let's click on index. And I don't like this. I'm gonna be using Notepad++ because to me it's just simpler for beginners. And pretty much this is, remember, this is a beginner series. So if you're advanced already, then chances are pretty much you should be watching this video. Okay, so we have our input fields. And remember where we got this from? Just check the last video. We pretty much did the lazy way of copying somebody else's code and pasting it here. So what we're really looking for is where our inputs are. So let's just look. And the first thing here is username. So this is your first input. It starts here, it ends here. So, and you just create a name, and our name is name equal uname. All right, uname. You can name it whatever, but it has to have that name tag equal to whatever this particular input will be identified as. And in password, we have name equal upass. You can call it whatever you want, but it has to have a name tag. The reason why these two tags are important, it's because this is what PHP will use to identify these inputs when they are sent over to your next page for validation. So pretty much now make sure that your last button, which is your submit button, all right, which would be, let me show you the visually what it would be. It would be this button. All right, this button, what you click login, that is the button that will send this information off to your server side code, which is what we're going to be writing next. So let's get back to our Notepad++. Okay, so that button is login. So let's just click it. It says login. So let's just make sure type equals submit. So if yours doesn't say submit, just type equals submit, and this is very important because this ensures that when you click this button, your PHP knows, or your page knows, that it's your form is already completed, and it will send the information off. All right, so what I always do is to create another folder, which would be another page, sorry, not a folder, a page, and you can go ahead and create that. Now, this will be your what does the validation in the backend. So I call it sub. So you want me to, I'm just going to delete this page and create it again, that you guys are with me. So it's just file new, and it's a text document that will be a PHP. I'm just calling mine sub and PHP. So it must have a .php extension. Okay. All right. So let's open it with Notepad++. All right. Okay. So this is where we're going to put our, before we go into this page, let's create another page. We are going to call that page, which is another PHP page, our connection. So let's just go there and let's just call it connection. So con that PHP. And what this page is going to do is just going to take our connection or ensure that we are connected. So let's now put some PHP code. So PHP space 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 question sign end bracket, and let's put our variables. So if you're using your example, this is what you're gonna have: username name equal root and password equal uh, and password $, password equals nothing, because there's no, by default there's no password set on your XAMPP server. So you need to put the database as a variable. So I would just say db name equals, and our database name is the name that you gave the database, which would be test2 in this case. And remember, if you wonder where to get your database name, I'm going to show you, because let me bring that up. Whoopsie. Let me bring that up for you guys. All right. Your database name is this. It will be the name that you created for your database. So, and you can find it by going to your MySQL admin and click on that, and you'll get it. But for this purposes, it's called test2. All right. So now let's check for a connection. So to create a connection, let's just make a comment. I think that's how create spelled. Connection. You can simply just say create a next variable, and let's just call this variable con, and let's just say con equal new my SQLi, and we're gonna pass in these variables. By the way, we forgot a variable. We need to give the server name. and the server name is the local host because it is, once you're doing it locally, it's localhost. Don't worry about that. I'm going to show you how to put it on your GoDaddy server. But for now and testing purposes, we're just using localhost. And yeah, that's spelled correctly. So let's pass in these variables in the MySQLi. So that's server name. Oh, that was spelled incorrectly. My bad, I didn't see that. That's actually surname. You imagine I'm teaching and I can't spell server name. So SERVER. Okay, thank you very much for trying to help me. Um, anonymous YouTube viewer. Yeah. So server name, username, comma, password, which is almost nothing, comma, and we are going to pass in the database name. And so that's what's going to be in that connection. Now let's check for a connection. Checked connection. So we're going to write an if statement, if, and that's con, which has everything, connect error. So if there's a connect error, then we are going to do some. So if there is a connection error, then I just want this thing not to work. So there's a special, I'd say function, and it's called die. And what it does is just, it dies. That's the thing I like with PHP. Some of the stuff is just straightforward. And you can say connection failed. And let's just include whatever the connection error is. So let's just say concatenate and just the connection error, which is con, in this situation, con, and give us the connection error. And let's copy this because I'm lazy. And just paste that. So if there's a connection error, that should just die and we should get the connection failed error. So let's just end this statement right here. Else, I'm just gonna throw an else in. Let's echo successful exclamation, and let's end that. So let's see if we have everything correct. So pretty much if this is an error, let's just give out a connection error and die. Alright, so let's save this. So the name of this page is con. Remember this page that we created, this sub page that was empty that we created before? This is it, sub. Let's show you what we're going to be doing with this page. So let's edit it with Notepad. Okay, so let's edit it with Notepad. And what we're going to do is create another PHP statement here, which would be an include statement. Include, which simply just brings the page that we just created into this page. And the name of that is the con page, con.php. It holds, or PHP, it holds our connection. Save. Now, how does these three pages relate to each other? Let's go back to our page. It's important that when this button is pressed, it does something. So whenever the submit button is pressed, it sends off. And for that, we need a thing called an action. So within our form tab, you will put action. So just click on form, action equal whatever the name of that page that stores your connection is. So ours is subpage, so action equals subpage dot php, and the method is post. All right. So we're not sending any information over as yet. Let's just check if our connection works. Okay. So let's go back to our page. So let's refresh our page. Let's click on this button. All right, so something's not going on with going wrong out with our button. Okay, I think I have the wrong page open. So let me open it again from my local host. So localhost, and then so localhost, and my page is called login system. All right. So when we press this button, it's supposed to bring us to that sub page. There we go. Successful. All right. So now we know that our connection is working. But let's just say we had the incorrect information in our connection page. So let's just go and just put some incorrect information to ensure that this connection is working. So let's just put something random, like let's just change this name and put A1 here, which would give us a connection error to make sure that this page is actually sending over the information. And there we go. There is a denial of access, blah, blah, blah. That means our connection is being checked correctly. All right, so we're just going to change this back to what it's supposed to be, the correct information here. All right, save this. All right, so I'm going no further with this video for now, guys. I've been going super slow with this. So in the next video, we're going to be putting the correct information in and validating it in our database. So guys, if you like this video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Recommend it to persons who are just learning PHP, or they just want to build a login invoice system for their business. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. All right, so that's it for now.